On script. David Alvarez on script, unchained.
David Alvarez all chained up on script. Not going off script at all.
That's a really good stage show. Let's work on that. That's our new project. That's Boys Night in Phase 3. David Alvarez on chains. All chained.
I like all chained up.
Yeah, entirely made as like Chain Man.
Diggity dog.
Hello, welcome. It's us, your friends from Boys Night In. It's me, Joey Z. It's David Alvarez. I guess we'll just call it the Boys in the Back because that was going to be the name of a wrestling show before we scrapped it anyway. So welcome to the Boys in the Back. Shouts out to Gabe, our great friend Gabe. He wanted us to watch this wrestling show, and he gave us Amazon money to do so. And I was like, if you're going to pay us to do it, then we're going to do a video review for you. Because he didn't even ask us to review it on video. He just said, just watch it and just let me know what you think. And I was like, we're gonna take that one tiny step beyond for you, and we'll sit down in front of a camera and tell you what we think about it.
Tell you what we think about every single match.
Yes, it was Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, GCW produced show from this past WrestleMania weekend.
And yeah, pretty good show. I wish I had a chance to watch it during WrestleMania weekend, but I was actually working and it happened in the middle of the day. So didn't get a chance to watch it, but happy I did.
I was interested in watching it, but I didn't really know anything about it other than it was going to be Bloodsport, and it was going to have weird rules, and it was just going to be like MMA, pro wrestling mixed together, which was interesting. But there's so much wrestling that weekend that I really only watched like the like main couple things I wanted to watch. I didn't really watch much else. There's just a lot of other stuff that I was like, that sounds great and all, but there's so much wrestling, and I felt very burnt out on wrestling, which going into this I was worried about that because I was like, man, I don't even know if I want to watch another wrestling show. I just watched so much wrestling this last weekend. I don't really want to watch another 2 hours of wrestling. Didn't feel very long. And the very weird rule sets that they put in place helped it feel less like a wrestling show again. You know, I didn't feel as like drowning in wrestling as I felt like.
Yeah, it was mostly most matches stuff with just grappling and stuff. So like that's filling each other out. So it wasn't like a lot of just wasting time like how most wrestling is, of people just laying on the mat wasting time.
I felt like there was kind of a lot of laying around on the mat in some matches.
Oh, there's a couple rest holds, but they're in the middle of a hold.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about people selling for moves.
Yeah, we'll go through it. We're gonna run through the whole card. I took some notes on some matches. I took more notes than others. My notes are just kind of all over the place. I don't really break down the match or anything. Sometimes I'll just break down a particular section that happened that was interesting or just notable. And we'll just kind of see where we go from there. First match was Phil Baroni versus Dominic Garrini in the match of two guys with funny names. Now, we think we've seen Dominic Garrini before.
We've seen him. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've seen him in person, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't really remember him or anything, and I didn't know who Phil Baroni really was, so just two people I knew nothing about going to the match. We had talked before we'd watched the show if we wanted to record ourselves giving our impressions of every match, like before we watched it, everything, and Dave was like, I don't know anybody on this card. And I went, well, let's look at it. We were like, we have nothing to say about 90% of like, just, we don't know anybody. I have no impression to go in with. So I was going in blank on it. Phil Baroni is not Joey Ryan.
Yeah, he looks like a knockoff Joey Ryan when he first comes out. Sunglasses, jacket on, and I thought that was pretty funny, but once he takes that jacket off, he's fucking ripped.
Yeah, that was my notes, was it doesn't matter how much he looks like Joey Ryan. He's not Joey Ryan. Never mind. He's ripped and he has the biggest dick I've ever seen. He's the real Joey Ryan.
Yeah, there could be some socks in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was big.
Yeah. It was a cartoonishly large dick bulge, and it was funny. It was just the Joey Ryan character, but he's not Joey Ryan, but he was living it even harder. He was so ripped and hairy and dick bigger than hell. Dominic is a shooter. You can tell by his outfit. He had the classic Street Fighter Ryu special, the gi with no shoes on. Very cool. Looks like he's in the middle of training.
That's how I know that we've saw him before, because when we saw him at Black Label Pro, he came out with the gi on and no shoes.
Really?
And then we started laughing like, this guy's the win. This guy's a shooter. And those were our exact words. How he was dressed to say the shooter.
That's funny because I don't even remember like him wearing the gi. I just remembered like the name Dominic Guarini seems familiar. And then when you said it, I was like, okay, yeah, we saw him at Black Label Pro. But now that you say that, I do kind of remember him coming out in the gi. I remember calling him a shooter for sure.
Yeah, because we saw the no shoes on. We're like, he's a shooter.
If you don't have shoes on, you're a shooter. That's just rules. If you don't have anything protecting the top of your feet and your toes and shit from damage, that's shooter techniques right there. This was kind of the start of a trend that happened a couple times throughout the night. They started out, and Guarini was laying on the floor, kind of like trying to bait in Baroni to make him come down to the floor with him, which isn't a wrestling thing you ever see. So it was very unique to see it here. It didn't happen a ton throughout the night, but it did kind of keep happening throughout the night. And this was like the beginning of it here. It's like a weird like cat and mouse game where the one dude's kind of trying to get in, but he doesn't want to get in because the other guy's going to grab him and snatch him up real quick. And the other guy doesn't want to get up. And it's kind of goofy and funny looking. Baroni just kind of keeps getting on him and punching the fuck out of his body.
Honestly, I like the beginner's match a lot because, yeah, Baroni like was just grabbing. He had a bunch of like takedowns. And he was just like grabbing him and just throwing him to the floor, and then he just lay, like so, just laying there.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a pretty fun match. I really liked the whole just the laying on the floor trying to bait him in, and him just kind of going in, landing shots and getting back again.
Yeah,
it was cool to see. It set the tone for the show really well. It really kind of lit me in on what I was gonna watch here, because at the very top of the show when they're breaking down all the rules for you, they kind of throw so much information at you that, like, halfway through the rules being listed, you tune out and you're like, okay, I get it. It's gonna be weird. Like, I gave up. I was gonna even write them down, and then they kept listing things for too long, and I was like, oh, all right, I get it. I don't get it. Fine, I'll understand it later. And I did for the most part.
I would say the most part, because you could win by doing anything but pinning.
Yeah,
and yeah,
that was pretty much what it was you could win by anything but pinning. That was basically the only big rule that mattered. There's no ropes on the ring. We didn't even mention that.
Yeah, so no rope breaks.
Yeah, there are no ropes on the ring at all, so there's no rope breaks. But there kind of is rope breaks in the sense that if they go to the outside or seem like they're gonna fall out of the ring or just get too close to the edge, the ref will break them up and reset them in the center of the ring. I think I pretty much broke down the end of the match here. It was a really short match for the start. Most of the matches felt really short.
Yeah. I don't know. The length for this match ruined it, though. The length and the finish.
The finish of this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of... it was goofy. Baroni punches Guarini in the face and just knocks him on his ass. And he does a visual pinfall on him, or he counts it himself. I don't really know, I was writing this down, and the next thing I knew, the other guy was laying on the floor after another move, and then he didn't get up for a 10 count, and that was the end of it. But because Baroni put his hands on the referee reversed the decision, and Dominic Guarini wins the match because Baroni put his hands on the ref.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's dumb. Fucking Brony was like had the offense like the entire match, and he's the guy everyone wants to see to win. Like he did a bunch of badass takedowns and then did a hard strike and knocked him out. Why should the dude, like, I understand he hit the ref, but he should just disqualify. I don't know. He did get disqualified, I guess. I don't know. I guess like a no contest would have been better than having the guy that got knocked out be the winner.
Yeah, it was whatever. It just had a weird flow to it, because it's just kind of like, oh, that guy definitively won, and then it was like, oh, he pushed the ref, and the ref's like, fuck him then. Dominic Guarini wins. And Baroni just leaves. He doesn't even like care. Like, he just walks out.
That was stupid. I give it a 5 out of 10 though. Yeah, then it kind of ruined it for me to finish, because I was like, I don't know, it could have got like a point higher if they just had Baroni win and not that stupid finish.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, weird finish. Didn't really feel the finish, but I liked the match. It set the tone, and it was just a fun, different match. It was nice for me to go into this match first. let me know what I was getting into and helped me not feel like, fuck, I gotta watch 2 hours of wrestling again. That was nice of the match. Next match was JR Kratos versus Simon Grimm. Simon Grimm, formerly Simon Gotch of the, what were they called?
The Von Villains.
The Vaudevillains, that was it. I was thinking something starting with an A. I don't know why. The Vaudevillains. The Ascension. Formerly of the Vaudevillains, and then he got fired or released or whatever. Good for him. JR Kratos, who I don't feel like I'd ever heard of.
I've never seen him.
Never seen him, heard of him. JR Kratos comes out and he looks just like a fusion of Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. He might be the goodest brother. I don't know. I didn't get a good impression on like his brotherliness from the match. But
he's huge too. He came out.
Oh yeah, huge dude.
Yeah, like the back of Lars Sullivan.
I feel like he could for sure ransack an entire case of beers very easily, like it was nothing. Simon Grimm looks like the youngest old man I've ever seen. He looks like a child next to Kratos. He looks simultaneously younger and older than he looked in WWE somehow. And the ref is clearly a child.
Yeah, the ref is so young. I don't know how young that ref is, but he looks like a little kid.
Yeah, little kid ref. The start of the match, Grimm's kind of trying to pick out the ankles and grab the legs of Kratos and out wrestle him, and more of the laying on the ground and trying to bait him in type of stuff. Grimm just elbows the fuck out of the side of Kratos' head at one point. Like, they'll start talking about his ear being destroyed and shit. Like, they really sell this heavy elbow to the side of the head. After, like, Grimm is surprisingly, like, in control of this match for a good portion of it.
That's all I have down. Like, he has most of the offense.
Yeah, Grimm has, like, most of the offense. And somehow, like, visual trickery, partway into the match, I felt like these guys were the same size now. I don't know how Simon Grimm did it. Either Kratos got smaller or Grimm got bigger, but they felt like the same size after a while. It didn't look like it was a big guy wrestling a little guy anymore. It was pretty fun. I don't have a ton of notes about it.
Yeah,
the finish was weird. It was basically Kratos throws a Superman punch to Grimm laying on the floor. Like,
I thought it was a forearm. I thought he went down with like a forearm.
He kind of jumps and like,
yeah,
you know.
He jumped, and I thought jumped.
Well, just the big cock back makes it. It just visually looked like he just did a jumping Superman punch to a guy who was just kind of sitting up off the floor. And Grimm just goes back down, and he's it. Like that.
I like how Kratos tried to pick him up and powerbomb him. No, he tried to pick him back up.
Yeah,
Kratos back down.
Kratos tries to pick him back up, but the ref is like, "No, stop! He's dead," and doesn't allow it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fun match.
I like that. I like that match. It was cool, and the right man won, and so I give that match a 6 out of 10. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't expect Kratos to win. I was cool with him winning. It was a fun match. Kind of felt the same as the first match, but a little like longer and better. That was really it. It was just kind of the same flavor again, but they were a little more intense and they got into it a little more back and forth than the first guys did. Whereas the first match felt kind of like this guy's definitely outclassing this guy, and this guy's just kind of hanging in there with him and kind of trying to pull him into his own games. This match felt like it's two dudes who are ready to fucking play with each other. You know what I mean? Solid match. Did you give it a rating already?
Yeah, 6 out of 10.
Right on. Solid. Next match. This is the match that I'm pretty sure Gabe asked us to watch this show for. I think it's the only reason he's so invested in us.
He wants us to see this match.
He really wants us to see this match. He pointed it out multiple times. Killer Cross versus Davey Boy Smith Jr. I was mostly bored by this match for a while because it felt the most like a normal pro wrestling match out of everything we'd seen so far.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the match didn't feel like it would have felt out of place on a normal wrestling show, whereas the first two matches would have felt way like it would have been like, whoa, that's a very weird and different match. This match just kind of, for the most part, felt like a normal wrestling match, but with less grappling and Irish whips. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a pretty. The match started off slow, basic wrestling match, grappling and stuff. Started off pretty slow, but the more the match went on, it started building up more, and it made it into a good wrestling match.
Yeah,
and that's what I really liked about it. That it just turned out to be a really good wrestling match, and there was one part in the middle of the match where Davey Boy Smith had a transition where he turned to like an armbar, and Cross got to the edge of the ring, so the ref broke it up. And I was like, oh, the crowd's going crazy. I was like, oh, that would have been a pretty cool finish. Mm-hmm. But then that was just a jump start to them like going to the middle of the ring and start giving a hard forearms and slaps back and forth.
Yeah, I actually ended up taking a lot of notes on this match just because once it got over being boring in the beginning, it built up to being a really good, fun match by the end.
Yeah.
It was a slow build at the start. Felt very pro wrestling. Felt just slow pace, really feeling each other out. But once they got going, it was a really fun match. They were going really hard on each other, just beating the fuck out of each other. This was kind of like the first match where I was like really annoyed by how much they spend like time in just ground like mat work and shit, doing submissions. Just a lot of laying around for the first part of the match, and I was writing that in my notes. And then you get to the point where they roll to the edge of the ring, and once that break happens after that big submission attempt, and like the crowd starts going crazy, they both get into it. They're throwing hard fucking knees to each other's bodies. They just start slapping the fuck out of each other in the head and shit. There was one part where Cross, I'm pretty sure, accidentally gets swept off his feet. He looked surprised when it happened. It didn't look like he meant to fall down, but he just kind of falls down on his ass, and they both look at each other for a sec like, shit, what do we do? Davey Boy tries to kind of jump on him, but he already like hesitated, so it already looked weird, and he just kind of throws some like weak pro wrestling fake punches to the back of his head to just kind of like, here we go, I'm fighting him. That was pretty funny. After that, to make up for it, they start slapping the fuck out of each other's necks. Just so hard, back and forth, just bam, 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 both necks turning red as shit. Just the shoulder, neck, head, face, all of that shit getting rocked, destroyed. Cross gets the advantage and he suplexes the shit out of Davey Boy, but Davey Boy just kind of gets back up, gets back to it. They strike again, and then he ends up submitting Cross after one too many slaps to the neck.
Yeah, hooks him in the cross face.
Yep.
And I like how fast he tapped out. Right when he got hooked in, like 1-2 seconds he started tapping. Yep. And I was like, all right, cool, that's badass.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that it was just they strike the shit out of each other. He drops down, he fucking jumps on him, locks him into submission real quick. Other dude knows my neck has been chopped to hell. I'm done.
But yeah, it was a good match. Like I said, slow build, and it peaked at the right time, I think. And yeah, I give the match a 7 out of 10. I think it was the best match so far. Yeah, I really liked it. By the time they got to the big striking exchanges and stuff, once they got into that stuff and really got going, it was a lot of fun. Really cool match by the end. Next match, we got John Gresham versus Masashi Takeda. I was already like a little bit aware of this match going in. I don't know anything about Masashi Takeda, but I know John Gresham, and I'd seen like little bits of this match here and there just on the internet and stuff. And I was excited for it. It looked like a fun match. So it might have been my most anticipated match going in just because it was the only one I really knew anything about, and I know the one guy's crazy, and the other guy sounds crazy. So yeah, Jonathan Gresham, big fan of him. I've seen a few of his matches. And, yeah, I was excited to see this match. But, let's see, where to start off at? Well, the start of the match is Gresham is just kind of trying to wrestle with Takeda. And Takeda seems like he's just not having that shit. And when they come out, Takeda comes out, and you notice his body. I don't know anything about Takeda. He comes out, and you see his body, his shoulders and back are all fucked up with scars. Yeah, no, he's a deathmatch guy, clearly. And they start telling me the deathmatch guy, and I'm like, oh, okay. Because I was like, this guy looks fucked up. He has scars all over him. Yeah, you can see you can see it from a distance. Like, his whole body looks fucked up. Very badass looking dude. Probably done some crazy shit. Yeah, it looked insane. But yeah, Gresham keeps trying to wrestle him. Takeda's just kind of finding counters out of everything pretty easily. Just shutting down like hard mat work and wrestling attempts. Just not really having it.
They do some pretty fast and impressive shit on the mat.
Yeah, I would say, Jonathan Gresham's moves, they're so fast, and I don't even know what he's trying to do, but it's just fun watching them.
Yeah, that was, I appreciated the mat work in this one because it was a change from the other ones where it felt like once they kind of get into a submission on the mat, they just they're motionlessly kind of fighting for submissions, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I get it, but this is just more exciting to see. It's exciting to see them rolling around constantly and just transitioning into different holds fucking every 3 seconds because they can't keep a grip on each other and then breaking apart and getting back in there. It's a lot of fun to watch. At one point, they end up like rolling out of the ring and they fall onto the floor. It doesn't look like a good fall. I'm pretty sure Takeda got cut because after that, he's bleeding pretty bad above his eye.
Yeah, no, it happened out of nowhere. And, he had a big cut. And they're in the middle of a slapping fight, slapping the shit out of each other. His cut is just bleeding more.
Yeah, when they fall out of the ring, the rules of the night were supposed to be if you go out of the ring, the ref just gathers you up, gets you guys back in the ring because matches can't end outside of the ring. But they decide they don't care, and they just start beating the shit out of each other outside of the ring. Like, they're just hard strikes, really, just kind of hitting each other real hard. At one point, because they put 20-minute time limits on, I think every match of the night had a 20-minute time limit. And so they'd announce, like, 5 minutes have passed, 10 minutes have passed. They announced that it had been 5 minutes into this match, and I was like, I feel like these guys have done, like, 10 minutes worth of shit. Like, they packed a lot of, like, shit into 5 minutes. I was really surprised when they told me that.
Yeah, no, good match, though. I would say, I guess we'll go to finish now. Takeda starts hitting the shit out of him, knocks him down, and then so he knocks him out, and then the ref goes on Gresham and starts trying to block him, see if he's okay. And Takeda goes behind him and starts hitting the ref.
Yeah, Takeda just jumps
and
in.
I'm like, he's hitting the ref. Fucking disqualify him, reverse it. What are you doing?
Nope, not the rules this time.
Yeah, and so only for the first match that was the rules, and after that.
Yeah, that happens multiple times where people put their hands on the ref, but nothing happens to them after the first match. Really cool looking finish on this one because they're just kind of in the middle of a striking exchange. Fucking Takeda lands a big blow and drops Gresham to his knees and then just knees the fuck out of him in his face. Gresham just falls back like he immediately tries to jump on him. Ref jumps in the way like, no, he's done. Get off him. Match is over.
Yeah.
Really cool match.
It was a good match. I feel like it ended too soon, but I don't know. Like, it made sense because it's a knockout. Knockouts can happen whenever, so that's cool.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily feel like it ended too soon. It did end abruptly, but I really liked the abrupt ending of it.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it ending as quickly as it did just because it was a very fast-paced match, and they packed a lot in there, so I wasn't really bothered when it ended. It felt right. I think it was my favorite match of the night, actually. I really liked that match.
Yeah, I gave it an 8 out of 10. And, good match.
The next match was a special one. Andy Williams, the guitarist from, what the hell is that band called? I keep thinking of the VR game, I Expect You to Die. God damn it. I just told you. Every time I die.
Okay, you just told me.
I know, I'm the one who told you earlier, and I forgot the name of the band. Versus Chris Dickinson, who I don't know. Now, I didn't know that, I don't know Andy Williams just off the top of my head. I don't just know that he's in Every Time I Die. Commentary said it, and I went, oh, he's in Every Time I Die. And then I remembered that I'd heard him on, like, Stone Cold's podcast, like, a couple of years ago, talking about how he was just starting to be a wrestler. And I put it all together like, oh, yeah, never mind. Yeah, it's the guy from Every Time I Die. I remember that. Chris Dickinson, I know nothing about. Basically, I know nothing about both of them. I've never seen either of them wrestle, as far as I know. I like the start of the match because they start out looking like they're about to lock up, but then they just start beating the fuck out of each other. Like, Chris Dickinson just kind of skips that and just starts throwing blows, and they just start hitting each other a bunch. And then Williams breaks up the striking exchange with the big shoot power bomb.
That's what I was about to say. Like, Andy Williams comes out. He's big as fuck. And like he lifts him up, and I'm like, that looks like a shoot power bomb. Like you could tell me like that was a shoot, and I would believe you. Like it was badass. I loved it.
Yeah, he hits him with the big shoot power bomb. I was a mark for pretty much every time there was like any wrestling maneuver in any of these matches.
Yeah, because it looked like a shoot. Every time they did it.
Seeing those moves in like a shoot like environment was a lot of fun. Just seeing a big power bomb felt really fun. When you're supposed to be, I mean, I guess you're supposed to always be believing they're shooting, but here they were really trying to give you that idea that, no, these guys are doing MMA, but they're also a little pro wrestling mixed in. So you just get to see an MMA match where the guy just throws a power bomb out of nowhere. That's really cool. There's one point where Dickinson is just striking the absolute fuck out of the back of Williams' head, and apparently that's just fine.
Yeah, that was my next thing too. Just punches and palm strikes to the back of the head, and it's just legal.
Yeah, it's just fine. It doesn't even matter. Williams picks up Dickinson for another big throw at one point. Don't remember what kind of move it was.
Yeah, they just do a bunch of throws. I just start writing down throws. I'm not even sure what throws they're doing anymore.
Exactly. I was doing the same thing. I was writing down throws and toss because I was like, they're just kind of picking up each other's bodies however they can get it and just letting them go. So they're basically weird suplexes and variants of them, but a lot of the time they just don't land right, or it was just a lot of nasty looking throws. Yeah. Dickinson's on Williams' back. Williams tries to like jump back to like crush him under his body weight, you know what I'm saying? But Dickinson just holds on and locks in a hard-ass choke. Williams goes out. That's the end of the match. Pretty short, sweet match. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I would say it was pretty good. I wish Andy won. I want to see him win because he was a badass. I liked how big he was and all the shoot throws he was doing.
Yeah, he was a really big dude and fucking his giant mustache and shit. He looks like an old school bodybuilder or some shit.
Yeah, he looks cool. But I gave that match a 7 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked that it was just short and like just got in, got out, got to the point. Did what it needed to do. Next match we got here: Frank Mir versus Dan the Beast Severn. Just two fucking heavyweights, two big fucking dudes just going at it with some old school pro wrestling grappling. My notes in this match are, I wish I was in this crowd yelling dumb shit like everybody else, because the crowd is just dudes yelling like, he's old, come on, whoa, like, don't hurt him. You know?
Yeah, that's all I want to do is be in that crowd and start screaming, because Dan Severn comes out looking old as hell, and they've announced that he's 60 years old.
Yeah, he comes out looking old. Look, he looks like he's in good shape and everything.
Yeah, no,
he just looks old.
Yeah, no, that's one part of my notes I wrote down. Like, I was happy to see he was out there and like bending his knees, able to move good still.
Yeah, no, he was moving fine.
I was like, he's moving good for 60. I like that. It's good to see he's moving good.
Yeah, I wasn't upset at the match. It was nice to see Dan Severn. It was fun to it's fine. He's looking good for 60, but he is 60. Mir tapped out Severn while I was writing down, I wish I was in the crowd yelling dumb shit like everybody else. So I don't even know what happened. It was a very quick match, very sudden finish. Just kind of felt like they were doing regular grappling that everybody been doing all night, and very suddenly he just kind of tapped him out.
Yeah, I guess the finish they did was like a heel hook that Frank Mir did, but that's the same finish that Frank Mir used to tap out Brock Lesnar. He used a heel hook during their match and over there in UFC. So I'm guessing they're trying to copy off that finish, but yeah, that match is a lot more badass. The Brock Lesnar Frank Mir match, because Brock Lesnar just beats the shit out of Frank Mir that whole match, and then Frank Mir wins at the end. But, I don't know, I thought the match was whatever, like, I could have gone without it. I wrote down a 3 out of 10. I was like, maybe 4 out of 10, but it was whatever. Like, it ended really soon. I was happy that, like I said, Dan Severn was in there moving good, but it was whatever. And then, after the match ends, Mir does a promo about Brock, and then the crowd starts chanting, Regal, sign him Regal.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I thought that was really funny because William Regal doesn't have that power.
Come on, he's a scout. He's out there looking.
He's not signing it.
Come on, sign him, Regal.
He's gonna sign 30.
Regal, I know you're watching.
I looked it up after that too, and Frank Mir's 39 years old, and he's gonna sign 39-year-old.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say I feel like Frank Mir is also kind of old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I had to look it up after they made that chant, and yeah, he's 39.
Nice. I wish that Alexa was around for us to just ask her. If you ever want to know how old people are, and you have one of your the government's listening to me all the time to advertise to me devices, just ask it how old anybody is. It's really cool. The next match on the card, Timothy Thatcher versus Hideki Suzuki. I'm vaguely aware of Timothy Thatcher.
Yeah, I recognize the name, but I feel like I've never seen him before.
That was how I felt seeing him in this match. Going into it, I would have assumed and been like, yeah, no, I've seen Timothy Thatcher before. When he walked out, I was like, I feel like I've never seen this man in my life. I don't know if he went through a look change or something and I'm just not remembering him right, but I know who Timothy Thatcher is. When I saw him tonight, I felt like I had no idea who Timothy Thatcher was. Hideki Suzuki, don't know anything about him. I don't know if I'd ever heard of him. It was
alright. Like I said, it was one of the matches that started off slow, and the announcer even said that Thatcher doesn't care about showing off or doing fancy moves or anything. They're just kind of
wrestles for himself.
Yeah, he wrestles for himself, and I was like, alright, that's cool. Like, I could see that, and I was like, just a real slow start.
I kind of liked it at the very start of it because they were doing a lot of standing grappling, and we hadn't seen a lot of standing grappling exchanges tonight. It was a lot of they might grapple each other, but they're taking each other to the ground. There was a lot of standing switches and just shit like that. They were trying to grapple each other standing up. I just appreciated it after how much time we spent on the mat tonight. After a while, though, we just got on the mat again, like we've been doing in every match. I wasn't really feeling it until Suzuki starts throwing some hard strikes. Yeah. Then it, kind of revitalized my interest, got me back into it. They start going for the classic strong style striking exchanges. Those are fun. Those look really good. Thatcher suddenly hits a gut wrench suplex at the 10-minute mark. I feel like the match is going on too long. Big shoot backbreaker from Suzuki, which I'm loving.
Cool, yeah.
The big shoot backbreaker followed by a big fucking throw, and Thatcher is knocked out by being thrown. The match was kind of saved for me by the finish. I loved that he got knocked out by being thrown too hard. Really cool finish. The match was fine. Wasn't upset by the match. But it felt a little long, felt a little boring. Finish kind of made up for it. Yeah. Really loved that he got knocked out by a throw.
Yeah, the finish saved the match, definitely. I gave it a 6.5 because the finish.
Nice.
Yeah.
adding in the decimals now.
I couldn't give it a 7.
Busting it down to the quarters.
I couldn't give a 7 for that. I was like, no. 6 seems too low, 7 seems too high, but I'll give it the 0.5.
That's fair. That's very fair.
I like after the match though. Well, no, I didn't like it actually.
Nice.
Because I liked Suzuki threw the towel at him, and I was like, oh, that's cool, badass. Yeah, you destroyed him with the throw. Leave that ring. And then would he want to do a handshake? He asked for a handshake, and then Suzuki shook his hand, and I was like, boo.
Boo.
I didn't want to see that.
No sportsmanship. Yeah. Fuck that. I think it was during that match we were talking about, man, I feel like every match has been pretty short tonight for the most part, and we're pretty much, we felt like we're at the main event, aren't we? We are, and we were confused about how it was possible, because the main event also ended up having a 20-minute time limit. Main event, Minoru Suzuki versus Josh Barnett. Now, here I know what we're talking about. I'm very familiar with Minoru Suzuki. I love Minoru Suzuki. He's great. Josh Barnett, I'm familiar with him. I don't really love him as much. I think he's fine, but I don't really go out of my way to see Josh Barnett matches. But he's fine.
Yeah. Not the beginning of the match, when it started up and Suzuki came out, he got the biggest pop of the night. Mm-hmm. The people were going crazy. I want to be there for that moment. I would have been losing my mind too. That would have been insane being there.
Yeah, this was another match where at one point in my notes I wrote down, I wish I was there yelling dumb shit again. That was how this match made me feel. Just made me like, man, I wish I was in that room with all these fucking dipshits just drinking and yelling.
And that's all I wanted to do was just yell for Suzuki.
That was the vibes. It was cool.
Seeing him come out, That was a main eventer coming out.
Yeah, every time he would do the thing where he sticks his tongue out, everybody would just, I like that particular room because you could feel that room was the boys. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a deep rumble every time something he said, yeah! You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of bass in that room, a lot of heaviness in the chests. I like the very start of the match because they start with a pro wrestling test of strength. They grab each other's hands and they go back and forth with the most old school fake ass wrestling shit you can do. The test of strength. It was cool, but the match was mostly feeling like a normal pro wrestling match in the beginning.
Yeah, it was funny because it felt like just a normal New Japan match. I mean, it was a normal Suzuki match.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like a normal Suzuki match.
Yeah, and that's what I loved about it. I was like, it's a wrestling match, but I'm having fun right now because it's a Suzuki match.
Yeah, I wasn't upset by it just being a normal pro wrestling match. It was a Suzuki match, and I like Suzuki matches, so it was fun. But it did, to me, feel like it went a little. We'll get there. The match is apparently over actually pretty early on, or at least the commentary keeps trying to tell us it is, because Suzuki punches the ref and hits Barnett with a chair. And the commentary just keeps being like, oh, well, the match is over now because Suzuki hit the ref. And they keep talking about it like, well, the ref is knocked out, so he can't call for the bell, so they're just going to keep fighting. Like, are we going to get somebody else out? Like, what are we doing? The match is over, right? Nothing matters. And they keep saying nothing matters, the match is over. And then eventually they're like, oh, well, maybe, hey, it's the main event. The ref might just let these boys fight. He might just let them go anyway. It's the referee's discretion. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's impossible to really tell because the ref is knocked out, so we have no way to ever know. And then eventually the ref is just kind of magically back in the ring, and they're like, well, ref's letting him go. And that was it. They make a big to-do about nothing. Everybody just seems confused by this part of the match, except for Barnett and Suzuki, who just keep fighting like nothing is happening.
Yeah.
They don't really have any regard for any of that.
My favorite part before that chair stuff happened was Suzuki's outside, and he's looking for a chair. And one fan stands up and starts trying to fold his chair up, but then the commentary is saying that they tied the chairs together, so no one can move the chairs around. So the guy just sets the chair back down.
Yeah, they zip tied all the chairs to make sure that something like this couldn't happen. And Suzuki's crawling around on the floor looking under the ring, and he's not finding any. So after the person tries to give him the chair, and he figures out, oh, the chairs are connected, he just rips the chair off of the zip ties and just takes it.
Yeah, it was really good. But then, once he gets hit with the chair, Barnett no-sells the chair shot.
That was what the chair meant nothing.
Yeah.
The chair was so, unimportant to the scheme of the match. He just kind of decided, I'm going to hit him with a chair, went out of his way to drag him out, hit the ref, and hit him with the chair, which Barnett completely ignores. It meant nothing. He just kind of hit him with a chair, and then dropped the chair, and they never brought it up again. Nothing happened with it. Now, there's 3 minutes left on the 20-minute time limit. And they're both on their knees in the middle of the ring, just striking the shit out of each other. I get the feeling they're going to the time limit here. They both stand up. They're still just striking. Suzuki is now fucking 17, 18 minutes in or whatever, doing the crazy face. Yeah! Everybody's going crazy. He's just eating strikes and fucking loving it. Barnett's strikes actually look really weak in these last exchanges. Suzuki's looked fine like they always do. The people even boo Barnett strikes at one point, and I didn't feel like it was because he was just. It didn't feel like a boo yay striking thing. It felt more like Suzuki hit a good strike, and then Barnett hits a really weak-looking fake pro wrestling strike, and they're like, boo, come on, fucking hit him.
I guess I took it as a boo yay, because the crowd was going crazy for Suzuki the entire match. The crowd wanted him to win so bad.
I mostly took it that way because they hadn't been booing him on any other striking exchanges the rest of the night, and for the rest of that striking exchange, they didn't really boo him like that.
He got booed in the beginning of the match, and not for striking, but just because they didn't want him to win.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. It's just that particular boo, just the tone of it and everything. It was just boo, come on, fucking hit him. That was how that boo felt to me. It was come on, hit him, what are you doing? 1 minute left. They're still just striking each other back and forth. The last minute, they just kind of do a flurry of strikes.
And the crowd's going crazy.
Yeah, crowd's going nuts.
Crowd's going nuts for it. It's badass. Back and forth
they
strikes.
Fucking love it. They're just they're blasting each other, going crazy. Clock runs out. Crowd's going nuts. Crowd's saying 5 more minutes. Going nuts. Suzuki. Shh. Commentary's like, Suzuki doesn't want more. He's telling him to be quiet. Suzuki gets them all to quiet down, and he goes, 5 more minutes! And then everybody goes crazy. The ref is just like, you want it? Right on. Go at it, boys. 5 more minutes. The rules are out the window. They get 5 more minutes out of nowhere. They go right back to...
starts off with strikes again.
Yeah.
Starts off hot.
Right back to striking. Starts in hot. Barnett gets a deep choke locked in, but Suzuki bites his way out. Then Suzuki's biting him on the top of the head. Suzuki's biting him on the bottom of the toes and shit while putting him in submission. Suzuki's just going crazy. Barnett starts talking shit to him in Japanese. Now they're hitting each other again. There's 2 minutes left in overtime. Suzuki's got an octopus hold on. That's on for another minute. 1 minute left. Barnett's got Suzuki by the waist. I'm assuming the timer's going to get increased again. 30 seconds. Suzuki's just kind of in a leg submission, locked in, but time runs out. Time limit draw. Such a,
I would say it killed it.
It honestly killed the match. Really bad. I would have rather them not even gave the extra 5 minutes.
Yeah, don't give the extra 5 minutes like I have a winner. Like, you're still going to have a tie when you give the extra 5 minutes. Like,
yeah, especially because that 5 minutes didn't build to anything. The only notable thing in those 5 minutes was Suzuki biting him a bunch. Yeah. Other than that, there was nothing special in that. You could have put him biting anywhere else in the first 20 minutes, and it would not have felt out of place. It would have worked fine. Other than that, the last 5 minutes was a waste to me because it was a less hot finish. He's just kind of got him in a submission that looks like every submission everybody's been put in and sat in all night for like a minute at a time. So you knew he wasn't going to tap out. It didn't look perilous. It just kind of looked like a normal Suzuki leg submission. It didn't really land well. Really bad finish. Really soured the match. Fun match to just watch, but didn't build to anything. It just kind of felt like the middle of a Suzuki match for 25 minutes.
Yeah. And yeah, like I said, it should have ended at the when they're striking back and forth in the middle of the ring, the first time limit.
Yep, I would have rather it ended at the first time limit.
Yeah, that would have been a badass finish.
Yeah, crowd was going nuts for that. Yeah, it was really good. I was having like, fuck yeah. I was ready for it to end right there. I only wanted it to go on if they were gonna give me a finish. And they didn't, and it was just like, why even give me the 5 minutes? It kind of felt like a shoot call.
That's what I was gonna say. I wonder if it was a shoot call because no one even announced it. Suzuki just said it.
Yeah,
they just started going.
That was how it felt to me.
Maybe it was a shoot call.
Yeah, it felt like on the spot. Like, hey, it's Josh Barnett's show. They probably just called it audible. Like, hey, you know what? Give us 5 more minutes. They didn't really have a plan for it. Whatever. We'll just go out there, scrap it out a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Maybe in the building, probably fun. But I felt like just the finish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you're gonna extend the time limit, have a winner.
Yeah, really kind of left it feeling dead. But it was still a fine match. I wasn't upset I watched it. I just was wishing that I could have had a definitive ending to it. I just wanted it to be like, oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah, no, I still gave that match an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I would say I guess it might be my second favorite compared to the other match, the Jonathan Gresham. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably call it my second favorite. Let me look over the card. Yeah, I could pretty safely call it my second favorite match.
But yeah, it's a better finish. It would have been my favorite.
But I think my third favorite match would probably be the Killer Cross Davey Boy Smith Jr. match, just because by the end I really liked it. That match kind of it's like the main event's problem is what that match didn't end up having. Killer Cross and Davey Boy Smith, they went a little while, but they actually built to something and made it like, oh fuck yeah, I'm not upset that they spent all that time now because they made it work. They made it make sense. In the main event, it just kind of feels like they were just like, let's just kind of beat each other up and do whatever until we are done.
Yeah.
And that's what they did, and it's fun to watch, but it don't go anywhere.
Yeah, Josh Barnett was impressive.
He was better than I expected him to be.
Yeah, he was better than I expected him to be. And like I said, it was a normal New Japan match, and he was with Suzuki and kept up.
Yeah, he was keeping up with them.
Yeah, so
he didn't feel out of place.
No, not at all. Yeah, I said he wrestled a really good match. I was really impressed by him.
Yeah, it made me feel like he would fit in like that type of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Before that, I wouldn't have been like, oh, Josh Barnett, fuck yeah, put him out there with them. I wouldn't have thought of it, but he held it. He held it down. It was a decent match. It was fun. Overall, the show was good. I liked it. I wasn't upset. I watched it at the end. It kind of flew by. Like it was a quick, nice 2 hours. Some matches felt like they went a little long. Other matches felt a little short. All in all, kind of adds up. It works out pretty good. Decently length show. I feel like the weird specific rule set and everything, and like just that stuff made it interesting to watch. But it also kind of handcuffs everybody into having to wrestle in specific ways, and it made everybody kind of have to pull out a lot of the same tricks, because it's all a lot of guys kind of entering a weird thing that none of them are used to doing, and they're all gonna have roughly the same ideas.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what made the first two matches feel so the same. Is it was just like, oh, I don't think these guys know how to differentiate this type of match, because they're given such specific rules and like limitations that it's like, oh, they can really only do this stuff, which is still a lot. But when you're watching a whole show of it and every match is just like, oh, they're just gonna work each other in the ring on the mat, it's weird for a pro wrestling show where these days you're used to like variety. You're gonna see a match, it's like lucha guys. You're gonna see some guys hit each other real hard. You're gonna see some big guys, little guys. You're gonna see comedy match. Like you're gonna see all these different types of things to like give it a different feel and kind of break up the pacing and the flow. It just felt like a fucking weird shoot fight thing, but it felt like a weird exhibition shoot fight where nothing really had stakes and mattered. It was just kind of we just kind of decided these guys should beat each other up.
Yeah, it was cool though. Honestly, because I watch UFC too sometimes, so like I'm used to seeing like a boring like build up to a fight where two guys just kind of grapple for a while and you have to wait for something to happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, overall it was a really good show, and I think it was a good mix of both. I feel like they should have kind of been stricter with the rules. Like if you're gonna force rules. Enforce the rules.
That was how I felt too, especially because they made a big deal out of that in the beginning. They kept saying like, Josh Barnett's he's really strict on the rules because last year Matt Riddle ran it. Matt Riddle's a real chill guy, wasn't very strict on the rules, let him kind of do whatever. So they emphasized it a bunch in the beginning, like, hey, we're being really fucking stingy on the rules tonight. We're not playing with the rules. Josh Barnett is a stickler for this stuff. And then they kind of were, and then they mostly weren't. Like, it was just when they needed to be, they were. When they didn't want to be, they weren't.
Yeah, so, I don't know. That's one thing I would change for next year. But, yeah, overall, good show. I had fun watching it.
Yeah, it was a solid show. It was fun. Makes me want to watch last year's Bloodsport, because I never did.
Yeah, Matt Riddle's in it.
And, yeah, it'd probably be fun to watch Matt Riddle and Minoru Suzuki. And I have no idea who else is on the rest of the card, but I liked it. The no ropes thing. I'm pretty sure it sold me for next year. Like I think next year I'll watch it live if I can. You know what I mean? Like if we can watch it live, I'd like to watch it live next year. It was fun.
Yeah, fun show. Definitely. Yeah, I might even watch the first one today or maybe this weekend or some shit. We'll look it up.
Right on. That'll do it. Thank you, Gabe. Shouts out to Gabe.
Shouts out to Gabe. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, really cool. Glad he made us watch the show, honestly. I'm not mad I watched it.
Because, yeah, I'm not sure if we would even watch it. I did want to watch it, but I'm not sure if I would have.
Yeah, I feel like we probably would have never bothered. We say we want to watch a lot of wrestling shows, but generally, if we don't catch a show live, we never catch it. So I don't really think we would have ended up watching the show if not for you, Gabe. So thank you, Gabe. That is the boys in the back. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
See you in the future.